If you want to, yeah. If you try snowing, we'll take it away.
Good morning, everyone. We are very excited to sing Where Do We Come From for our gathering music. Do pay attention. It is also our opening hymn.
What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come Good morning. I want to make sure I've got the mic set where I'm actually talking into it. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fayetteville. My name is Annette Lewis, and today I'm the worship leader. I also sing in the choir, in case you didn't notice. I will be running back and forth. I work in the grounds crew, and I'm a member of the Web of Life pagan community here in our fellowship, among other things. I try to do everything, but it's a big mistake. Unitarian Universalism is a religious tradition that values freedom in religious thought and journey. We uphold the unity of our connections to each other, to all of life, and to the precious universe of which we are a part. We affirm the universality of love and hope as we journey together in community. And we welcome you, whoever you are at this moment, and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. For those of you joining us online, welcome. If you're new, please check out our website, uufayetteville.org, for more information. For those of you visiting us for the first time in person, you'll find a visitor's information card in the seat back in front of you with a pen. We'd love for you to fill one out so that we can get you on the email list and keep you informed of our events. Later in the service, we'll have time when you're invited to come forward and drop a stone symbolizing your joy or concern into our bowl of water. If you have a joy or concern you'd like to share, we invite you to fill out one of the yellow cards you'll find in the seat back in front of you with a pen. Oh, you can use a pencil. I'm just saying that there is there is a handy writing instrument there for you. There's a place in there to indicate if you want your joy or concern shared aloud, or if you want it to be confidential and shared only with leadership. If you fill out a yellow card, you can bring that forward at the time. If you are online, you may write your joys and concerns in the comments there at that time. Please note that those comments will be public. If you have need for hearing assistance, our AV tech, David, he's waving to you, can help you with that. Children are always welcome in our service, but there is a staffed nursery available downstairs with a lovely person there to be with your children if you should prefer that. Remember to silence your cell phones as we enter into our service. Okay. Today, we are fortunate to have Marty Fajcek being our speaker. He and his wife, Sarah, have been members here since 1994, and both of their sons attended RE. He has been an OWL teacher, which I had to look up and find out it's our whole lives, and it's a whole curriculum there. He's been a board member, the board president, a leader of the Chalice team. He's done a lot here. He finds that being a member of UUFF is interesting, challenging, frustrating, and sometimes funny. He says the first time he led a service, there were 10 in attendance, and 5 of them were friends and family. He enjoyed the challenge of putting together messages and hope you get something from what he has to say today. He'll be talking about healthy society's dependence on cooperation with moral codes that sustain rather than divide. We will be looking forward to his coming. Now, I'm sort of lost. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Annette. That's the funny part right there. Okay. So, more than 10, so it's going to be a good day. Yeah? I'm glad to see that. So, my opening words today are from a book written by Rabbi Jonathan Sacks. The book is called Morality, Restoring the Common Good in Divided Times. And a lot of this helped inform and structure my talk today. He says, a free society is a moral achievement. Over the past 50 years in the West, this truth has been forgotten, ignored, or denied. That is why today, liberal democracy is at risk. Societal freedom cannot be sustained by market economics and liberal democratic policies alone. It needs a third element, morality, a concern for the welfare of others, an active commitment to justice and compassion, a willingness to ask not just what is good for me, but what is good for all of us together. It is about us, not me, about we, not I. If we focus on the I and lose the we, if we act on self-interest without a commitment to the common good, if we focus on self-esteem and lose our care for others, we will lose much else. Nations will cease to have societies and instead have identity groups. We will lose our feeling of collective responsibility and find in its place a culture of competitive victimhood. In an age of unprecedented possibilities, people will feel vulnerable and alone. The markets will be merciless. Politics will be deceiving. People will feel anxious, uncertain, fearful, aggressive, unstable, unrooted, and unloved. They will focus on promoting themselves instead of the one thing that will give them lasting happiness, making life better for others. People will be, by historic standards, financially rich, but emotionally poor. Freedom itself will be at risk from the far right and the far left. The far right dreaming of a golden age that never was. The far left dreaming of a utopia that will never be. And on that happy note,
please join me while we light the chalice. Love is the spirit of this community, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in truth, and to help one another. Thus do we covenant together.
Friends, our opening hymn this morning is one of the few hymns ever that, instead of being inspired by poetry, it is inspired by a painting by Gauguin. And we are going to sing this in a round today. So this half, the middle section, will be kind of divided. Divide yourself wherever you like. And one side, the other side. Jean and Annette will lead this side, and I and the choir will lead this side. Okay. All right, Jory. Give us a beat.
Do unison first.
We're going to sing it all together once, and then around twice. So unison, round, round.
Are we part?
And
Are we part one?
you're part two.
Part two.
We're part one. And every single line will be repeated every single time. So you'll catch it on the unison part. This will be great fun. I know, rounds are everybody's favorite, mine too. Okay, unison first. Go ahead, Jory. Where do we come from? You can stand up. Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where Oh, yeah. Good work.
All right. Renee, do you know where the stand is? I did not think about that. We might need a stand, like the little stool.
Is it under the pulpit?
Yes, it is. Good morning, everybody. I have some help for Story for All Ages. This is Maple. The Story for All Ages is called That Fruit is Mine, and the author is Anuska Alapuz. Deep in the heart of the jungle lived 5 elephants. Let's all just go ahead and make an elephant noise. Perfect. In that jungle grew lots of fruit, and the elephants loved fruit. Elephant 1 munched on mangoes. You're going to see a pattern. Elephant 2 craved coconuts. Elephant 3 was keen on kiwis. Elephant 4 banqueted on. And elephant 5 preferred. Everybody knows that's what elephants eat, right? But one day, deep, deep in the heart of the jungle, the elephants discovered a new tree, a new very tall tree. And on that very tall tree was the most delicious looking exotic fruit the elephants had ever seen. And everyone wanted to eat it. Mine, said Elephant 1. That fruit is mine. She knew she could reach it. She huffed and she puffed with all of her might.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up, up, up.
Do you see in the corner the mice? They're taking a different approach. The fruit did not move an itty bitty inch.
Heave, ho. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up, up, up.
Mine, said Elephant 2. That fruit is mine. She knew she had a very smart idea. She could already taste that sweet, sweet fruit.
Keep stretching.
Perhaps her idea needed a little more work.
Look at that humongous bug.
Mine, shouted Elephant 3. That fruit is mine. He knew he was cleverer than Elephants 1 and 2. So with a heave and a stretch, he started to climb.
Not far to go now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up, up, up.
Oof! He didn't get very far at all.
I can almost reach it.
Nice try, says the elephant on the ground, and our poor giant humongous elephant bug is saying, help, in the background. The elephants were getting very impatient and very hungry, and Elephant 4 decided to just run at the tree as fast as he could. Mine! Go ahead and make a sound here. What do you think this sounds like? Ouch! Oof, oof. Mine, said the elephants all at once. But just at that moment, the delicious-looking exotic fruit began to move.
Oops, I beg your pardon.
Now, the delicious-looking exotic fruit belonged to the 5 mice who carried it together. This Fruit is ours, the 5 mice said. The elephants looked on astonished. Ours, said the elephants.
Hooray, we've got the fruit.
Ours, said the elephants all at once. Why didn't we think of that? Huff, puff, ours. Huff, heave, ours. Stretch. The fruit is ours. And that's how deep, deep in the heart of the jungle the elephants finally got their delicious-looking exotic fruit. Weren't there 5 of us? And there's the elephant going, mine. Ours. Give Maple a round of applause.
Good work. Friends, it is time for our ritual of joys and concerns. And what we are about to do is the same thing that you across the globe are doing right now, dropping stones in water. Here in this space, we are gathered to be together today. Here we're gathered, called to be a community, like a family, our UUFF family. Here we have gathered to remind ourselves of joy and of goodness and to hold space for each other through the hard stuff. So if you filled out a yellow card, now is the time to bring it up and drop a stone into the water. And even if you didn't fill out a yellow card, you're quite welcome to come up and drop a stone in the water. You may simply just share a stone. Friends, you may come forward. Jory, will you offer us some music? Beloveds, part of our gathered space are folks that are attending virtually on Facebook today, virtual UUFF. Gabe, are there any joys and concerns from Facebook to share this morning?
We have two. Rose Barlett sends a joy. Enjoying this beautiful weather, planning to fire up the trike and go for a ride today.
Hey, Annette, will you drop a stone for that?
Drop a stone for the trike.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming a concern from Melanie Edge. I ask for your thoughts and healing energies as I deal with pneumonia.
Oh my goodness.
And one more from Rhonda Jean. RJ and family miss being there today. We are homesick.
Yeah. Thank you. Beloved Facebook attendees, we are here with you. Thank you for sharing with us today. We don't have any concerns in our cards today, but we know that there are concerns out there amongst us all. Annette, will you take like a handful? Yeah, take a handful and drop some stones for those concerns that remain unnamed and close to our heart, and for any that might come up this week. We have some definite joys. Nancy Garner shares that she hiked all day yesterday in the Ozark Mountains. Yes, east of Jasper, and nature is therapeutic, but my body's tired. Dane Wagner shares, I'm thankful to have such a strong and secure relationship with my wonderful wife, and we're halfway through a major renovation and still love each other. This one is anonymous. Joy to the power of our connection and love as a community. Blessed be together. Yes, yes, yes. From Quinn, joy. I want to welcome into the world my new little grand nephew, Rain. Oh. Okay, here's a biggie. Bill Nichols will be turning 92 years old on March 16th. On March 17th, that's a Sunday. That's the Sunday Summer Osborne will be preaching for us. Don't miss it. There will be a birthday cake and a party for him at noon during coffee hour in the lobby. Yeah, 92. Okay, yes. Annette, will you drop some stones for those unnamed joys that are close to our hearts and the joys that will inevitably come up for us this week? Here in this space, we are called to weave the web of community. Let's remember these shared joys and concerns and hold our community in our hearts this week. Thank you.
Now is time for our offering. The important work of this fellowship is possible because of your generous contributions of time, talent, and treasure. Every contribution of every size is helpful and appreciated. As we pass the offering baskets, we invite you to share financially. If you prefer, you may give at our website by texting online or mailing checks to our office. Will the hosts please come forward and pass the offering baskets?
It's also share the plate someday.
Okay, why don't you stand up and, okay. Note in your order of service who the share the plate goes to today.
our anthem is called Altissimo Corazon, and it means from the highest heart. Or you could think of it as from the highest love.
Thank you. It's always nice to hear the choir. Thank you to the choir, and thank you to whoever brought the daffodils. It always reminds me of Lyle Thompson, a long-term member here. Every year, Lyle would, at about this time of year, read a poem called Daffodils. And so Lyle's with us today. So how did we get here? And by here I mean some of the things that Rabbi Sachs talked about. Unprecedented lying and hypocrisy and divisiveness and anger, drug and alcohol abuse, daily mass shootings, income inequality, where the average CEO makes in 1 year what the average worker makes in 312 years. Politics of insults and name-calling and threats, nobody taking responsibility, demonizing anyone who disagrees with you. A global pandemic that led to panic buying, hoarding, abandoning the vulnerable, focus on one's own convenience instead of tolerating masks and staying in place. Unprecedented wealth, unprecedented despair. What happened? When I was growing up, or as Seth Meyers says, back in my day, I learned that there were rules to guide what I was supposed to do and not do. These were not laws enforced by police, but they carried about the same weight. They were taught and enforced by my parents, grandparents within the family, and then later by my teachers and peers at school. What I learned were moral codes, guides that told me the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. Be honest, be fair, don't hurt others, share what you have. When I look at the news now, I see a lack of moral codes, a lack of moral responsibility, a lack of people working hard to do the right thing and avoid the wrong thing, a lack of people doing the best they can to promote what is in the best interests of the group, even if they have to give up or reduce what is in their own best interests. To be sure, this is not something new. When I say, whatever happened to morality, I'm aware that morality and moral action have never been universal. But I have to point out that, as an old white guy with gray hair, it is my responsibility, nay, it is my duty to say, things have never been so bad. And here I am saying it. We never talk about morality. There seems to be a sense that it's not politically correct. Maybe it's because judging some people to be moral means we might judge other people to be immoral. Immoral sounds bad. We want to believe that there are good reasons people do what they do. We want to believe in dignity and worth, and maybe they're just having a bad day. And certainly, moral judgments have been used to hurt and divide, to hurt and separate us instead of supporting connections and positive relationships. Different groups have been demonized, and people have been canceled because of their choices that we later realized were not harmful at all. Morality can feel like an intrusion into our private lives and a replacement for freedom of choice with the dictate of outside authority. But are there immoral people? Yep. People who don't care about the common good, but only care about themselves. People who carry automatic weapons. Up to a hotel room so they can shoot down on the people below. I'm sorry, my niece was there. People who grow rich off of pyramid schemes and leave investors penniless. People who purposely spread misinformation. People who lie and deceive and hurt so that they can profit. Moral codes develop to ensure our survival. We are social animals. We can never make it for long on our own. While survival of the fittest applies to individuals, it also applies to groups. Survival of the fittest group requires each individual to support and help others. It requires empathy and altruism and working together, like the mice in that book. Okay. Through repeated face-to-face interactions, morality develops. Making things better for others can make things better for us.
You're doing great. I'm just going to move the mic just a little.
Okay, thanks. Children go through stages to learn moral behavior. First, they learn to follow rules to avoid physical punishment. Then to make important adults happy. Then to fit in with society. Then to promote the best interests of society. Unfortunately, some people never make it to that last stage. Some moral codes are written out, like the Ten Commandments or the UU principles, but most are not. Put the cap on the toothpaste. Wash your hands after using the bathroom. Put your dirty clothes in the hamper. All refer to moral codes of cleanliness and cooperation. Humans have the choice to be moral because they have empathy. They can anticipate consequences and make value judgments, and they can make choices. Even in this room, we do not all agree on every moral value, but that's okay, because one we have agreed on is engaging in mutual respect and learning from each other. Moral values can and should change over time. Honesty, kindness, compassion, fairness, self-control, thoughtfulness are almost universally held values. But cultures can differ, and groups can differ on their views toward divorce, religious faith, sexual behavior, or abortion. Research indicates that liberals place more emphasis on care of and fairness toward others, while conservatives place more emphasis on loyalty, respect, and purity. When I was in college, living in a fraternity taught me that not every social group values cleanliness or sobriety. Morality is supposed to teach us what the right thing to do is. But what if we don't want to do it? It seems that over the last few decades, our connection to moral codes has been loosened, and we have become more likely to make choices for our own personal benefit than for the common good. Since the 1960s, we've seen more emphasis on personal rights. In the opening words, Rabbi Sachs called this a move from a we culture to a me culture. We want what we want. We join small groups that want the same thing, and we disconnect from the larger group. We advocate for the smaller groups by getting angry at the other groups. We focus more on rights than responsibilities, and our narcissism grows. Corporations that were once reined in by laws and regulations had many of these lifted to promote free markets. Being part of a large company whose only focus is profit and whose sense of responsibility is diluted by large numbers, remember, too big to fail, has led to decreased honesty, integrity, transparency, and accountability in the business world. Social media has eroded real connection. We compare ourselves to others, give up privacy to compete for attention, and require immediate dopamine hits. We subject ourselves to a constant stream of misleading information and fake news. We are replacing face-to-face contact with extra screen time. And we rationalize. We are good at rationalizing. We all want to see ourselves as moral people, but research shows that most people on most days do some lying and cheating. We just lie and cheat up to the level that still allows us to think of ourselves as moral. Rationalizing is saying, I know this is wrong, but other people made me do it. It only did a little harm. They deserved what I did. Other people do worse things. I have to do it to keep my membership in this group. I have been mistreated in the past, so this evens things up. The guidelines were really unclear. What I did was actually helpful. I just did a good thing, so now it's okay to do a bad thing. After I do this bad thing, then I'll do a good thing. Only part of what I did was bad. I only hurt the government or a big organization who either deserves it or won't notice it. We all have those rationalizations. Next time you watch a political speech, check those out. You'll see a lot of those. When we behave unethically, we are less likely to confront unethical behavior of others. Why did it take so long for the business world to confront Bernie Madoff? How about the leaders of Enron? Or here's a really interesting one in the New Yorker in October. There was an article about a group of several Harvard psychologists who studied truthfulness. Guess what? They made up all their data. How do we reclaim our morality? We need to do better. We need to be more aware of our individual choices. Know what your values are. Name them. Make a list. How do you prioritize your own values? What are the values that most define you? We need to see that every choice we make has a moral component. We need to be objective about ourselves and accept with humility that we may be rationalizing or acting out a self-serving bias. We need to move from an intention to be moral to actions that support our moral values. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness and effort. We know that the only perfect people are politicians. And in that vein, we need to assess the morality of our leaders before choosing them as our leaders. What is their moral code? Does it match yours? Because we learn morality in our homes and communities, we must do everything we can to support family and community connections. We need to provide resources to help families stay together, like homes, food, treatment of physical and emotional problems, education, support, a living wage. Everything we could do to help families will help the morality of our country. We need to promote social groups and volunteer organizations that take care of others. We cannot always rely on government mandates. When we have to go to the Supreme Court to learn morality, we know we're in trouble. We have to join and participate in groups like this one. Groups can organize cooperation and establish trust on a large scale through shared beliefs and rituals. I don't know if you've ever gone to a Unitarian church outside of this one, to other parts of the country. It's amazing because they're the same. They share our values, they share our songs, they share our organization, our order of service, and you see that we have connections all around the country that way. And it really feels good. It really feels good. And they all copied off of us. Doing all these things requires dedication, commitment, and effort from you. No easy way around it. There were many selfish responses to the COVID pandemic, but there were also selfless ones. Medical staff working long hours while exposing themselves to danger and possible death. Grocery workers stocking shelves, sanitizing stores, dealing with angry and sometimes aggressive customers. Delivery drivers getting needed items to stores. People shopping for their neighbors. We all have the capacity to do the right thing. There is a payoff. Treating people with kindness will change how they treat you back. Take responsibility. Act with care, concern, generosity, tolerance, and forgiveness, and you will find that that is contagious. A healthy democracy depends on strong people and strong families and strong communities acting with moral focus. It's time to engage.
Thank you, Marty. That was amazing. I see us as one of those strong communities. And let's have our closing hymn. Friends, the word hymnody means the study of hymns. And a hymnodist is, I'm telling you the truth, is someone that writes or arranges hymns. Our own Jory Costello, last week she showed us a hymn that she arranged. She took a very old traditional hymn and created a bluegrass version of this. Yes, and many of you heard it last week, and I thought that it was epic. I thought it was awesome, and so I wanted us all to have a chance to sing it today. Please rise as you are able. Show us how it goes, Jordan. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, my soul? What wondrous love is this, oh my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of
please join me with the words as we extinguish. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And now for the announcements. They're here. We'll give you a moment to look over them as I read this one that came in. Dinah Nash and the Justice Team will host a tree giveaway and planting ceremony on Saturday, March 16th from 10 to 2 in Shaw Park in Springdale. Older kids will plant a tree together there. Please have your teen save time to help with this.
And then I'd like to add one more.
Yes, please.
April 7th is Poetry Sunday. I know. I do it every year for my birthday. It's my favorite. I love it. We don't have very many poems signed up yet, so you probably have heard me say in the past that it's incredibly good for you to write poetry, to read poetry and memorize poetry. Great for your brain. Please email me. My email address is on the back of the order of service with your poem and your title, and I will get you into the Poetry Sunday on April 7th.
Is there a theme?
Is there what?
A theme?
There is not a theme. Nope, it's poetry is the theme. Yes? It absolutely does not have to be. Most of them will not be original, but it can be original.
And with that, I'd like to read a short poem while you're reading the announcements. Yeah, this is an audition. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a little while out of your busy and very important day? For the goldfinches that have gathered in a field of thistles, for a musical battle to see who can sing the highest note or the lowest, or the most expressive of mirth or the most tender. Their strong, blunt beaks drink the air as they strive melodiously, not for your sake and not for mine, and not for the sake of winning, but for the sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say. This is a serious thing. Just to be alive on this fresh morning in this broken world, I beg of you, do not walk by without pausing to attend to this rather ridiculous performance. It could mean something. It could mean everything. It could mean what Riki meant when he wrote, "You must change your life." Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
These are the other closing words. These are words from Margaret Wheatley from her book, Turning to One Another. I believe we can change the world if we start listening to one another again. Simple, honest, human conversation, not mediation, negotiation, problem-solving, debate, or public meetings. Simple, truthful conversation where we each have a chance to speak, we each feel heard, and we each listen well. What would it feel like to be listening to each other again about what disturbs and troubles us, about what gives us energy and hope, about our yearnings, our fears, our prayers, our children? I wonder if you believe, as I do, that this world needs changing. Human conversation is the most ancient and easiest way to cultivate the conditions for change: personal change, community and organizational change, planetary change. If we can sit together and talk about what's important to us, we begin to come alive. Thank you.
Go in peace, friends. Thank you.